Yay, we're live. I am a minute early, so I'm going to give it just a second for some people to jump on. Hey guys, I am a little bit early. This is a flash live, so I don't know if everybody will be able to jump on or not. But if you don't, then the playback will be available. Most all the supplies that I'm using today, I got from my local hobby store, Michael's, wherever you shop, Joann's, Michael's, those kind of places. They're all going to have what you need. Most of mine came from Michael's, of course. So somebody asked me to do this. Actually, Sue asked me to do this, and there are a couple of wreath videos, and from what I gather, this kind of flower petal for these flowers have been around for a while, but we are going to be making them for this wreath, and we're doing a triple flower wreath that's been done before. I don't pay attention to mine. I don't have it all even. I've got mine a little bit off, but we're going to try to get this third one straight. It's the first time I've made one like this. So one of the things, the tips and tricks in one of the videos is they used a wood burning tool to cut their pieces. So I'm going to turn this on and heat it up and show you how they do that. And I am going to place these to the side and go over some of the materials that you're going to need. Now you are going to need, of course, your mesh. And the mesh that I'm using today is the poly burlap mesh. Right there, poly burlap mesh. It's going to cut easier, and it's going to give you more color than the deco mesh because it's a little heavier. So make sure that you're using the polymer deco mesh. So that you're going to need some felt for the centers of your flowers. Hey, Mary Lou. You're going to need some of the felts. Now I use the Celebrated, I believe it's Celebrated, or I don't know what the actual brand name is on there. I've got a piece over there to tell me on there. But I got this at Michael's, and it's the little bit thicker one. Depending on how thick your felt is as to how much you're going to need. Hi, Marianne. So if your felt is really thin, you're probably going to need more of it or less of it. This you can cut on your Cricut machine. If you want, you can lay out for as long as your felt is and your mats are. You can do that. I'm just grabbing this sheet over here. And create this, because it's going to depend on how you put yours together as to how big your center needs to be. This is the Creatology. I'm not sure. I think this came from Michael's. It might be Joann's, but I think it was Michael's. But whatever colors that you want to use. And I didn't use my machine for this. I didn't feel the need. I didn't want to have to lose that 1/4 inch, all of that good stuff for the mat. But I simply folded it in half and cut it right down the fold. Then I took those half pieces and I folded those in half. So we're just going to pretend this is half. I folded that in half and cut it down the fold. So I ended up with 4 strips like this. Okay. I'm going to heat my glue gun up as well while we're doing this. So once you've got that done, if you want to do this in create your file in Design Space, you're just going to do a long rectangle, and then you're going to need to do cut lines all the way down the center. You don't want them to come to the edges because you're going to be folding this over and hot gluing it. And there's probably one in there for a rolled flower somewhere if you guys want to use that. That's basically all it is. That's what we're using. And they're 3 inches wide, so when they're folded, they're 1.5 inches. Okay, but I simply did it this way. It was super easy to do. Cut my 4 strips and did that. You will need a scrap, so you can cut a scrap off the end of one of your pieces. I only used 3 strips to make mine in my flower centers. Right here, this is 3 strips after it's folded over, and you can see they're just loops. Okay, super easy and simple. Again, I know there's a rolled flower in there that does that if you want to use that file and cut on your machine. I just didn't find the need for it. This may still be hot from before. And I'm heating up my wood burning tool as well. I'll let that rest. But once you, yeah, it's still warm from where I was working with it. You're going to just spread your glue and fold these in half. I'm not going to do this completely all the way. There's no need. I'm going to show you guys how to do it up to this step here in just a second. So you're just going to fold it in half and glue it. Then you're going to take your scissors, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You're going to cut about halfway to 2/3 or 1/3. It doesn't really matter. It depends on how much loop you want. About every 1/2 inch, you're going to cut those slits. Now, if you do it on Design Space, your slit's going to be cut down the center, leaving about a 1/2 inch on each side. So I'm going to say a 2-inch slit at every 1/2 inch interval if you want to set that up. And then when you fold it over, it will automatically be slit. So how you want to do it, totally up to you. I've already done these. I've got these for my next flower. I've got 3 of them. These sheets were 18 inches long, so that's what I'm using. Hi, Louise. And I'm just going to start with a little bit of hot glue in there, and I'm going to start rolling the center. Just going to put some glue down through there, and you're going to roll it. And I do this step first. I did these in advance so that you guys wouldn't have to watch me do the same steps over and over and over. So once you've got all of that done, you're just going to bring these 3. I like to go ahead and do this, like I said, so that it can be cooling, and I won't be fumbling with it while it's still hot and it's not set yet, because you want it to stay in place. You don't want it sliding around on you. So that's my first one. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right here to get this next one started. And I'm just going to place it exactly where that one stopped. Okay. And we're going to continue rolling these. So far, simple, right? Super easy. Add another glue stick here. And we're going to roll. I squirted some glue on the outside there. I don't want to stick my finger in it. Already done that once. Already got one burn. And I know this looks awfully big, but this is a large wreath once you get it going. And you can see how I'm kind of doming that. I'm just kind of dropping down just a little bit with each roll. Okay, so you get that domed effect. And I'll put a little glue here and get that next one started right where that one stopped. Okay. Some fuzz sticking up on it. I don't know how I did that. What's everybody been doing? I've been working a lot, so I haven't had a lot of time to craft. Of course, I craft at work, so all right. And then we're going to come right up to the end of it. Now, like I said, I cut a piece. There it is. You want to cut just a little piece of scrap. Just going to let that sit. And you can see I got a nice little dome. And we're going to flatten that out here when we put it into the flower a little bit. Not much, but a little. The next thing you need is, I'm using 18 gauge. Guys, you don't need 18 gauge. This is a little bit overkill. It's kind of like using a sledgehammer on a brad. You don't need 18 gauge. I'm going to say 20 or 22 gauge will work perfectly fine. Okay. And I'm just going to cut about half of that off. I'm just going to, I got a little drop of glue there in the center. And I'm just going to fold that over. Just kind of build it up in the middle. And I want it to stick, of course. There we go. I'll get there. Just let it sit. And then I'm putting some glue all the way across on this piece. I'm going to set this in and bring this over. And we're just going to let that set. That's why I was saying it doesn't matter if you're going to be able to move it a little bit, but you just want to let it set. Okay? So let that cool without messing with it too much. And that is all I'm going to need with this glue gun. I'm going to unplug it. That's all you need your glue gun for, and you'll be done with it. Okay, the next thing that you're going to need to do is cut your pieces. Now I used 3 color flowers. I used a pink, a purple, and a yellow, and I did my centers, and then I used green for my leaves. And I lost my roll. Oh well, I'll use purple. Why not? So you're going to need, for each flower, you're going to need 8 10-inch pieces off of your roll, and a glass mat if you're cutting it this way. Now you can cut it with your scissors, but this was a really neat trick. I believe the woman's name was Julie. I don't know her last name. Sue may know it. But I'm just going to pull. I've got my wood burning tool on, and I've got a glass mat here, and I'm just going to go to the 10-inch mark, and I'm just going to draw a line right down and cut my mesh. Super easy and simple way to cut it. So it goes really fast if you've got a wood burning tool. If not, you can get one for about 10 bucks at Michael's. They come in handy for something like this if you're going to be making a lot of wreaths. And it just absolutely cuts it very quickly, very easily. I'm going to turn that off. Super easy. So once you have everything cut, the next step, again, you're going to need 8 of your purple, 8 of your pink, 8 of your yellow, or whatever color that you're using. And I cut 10 to 12 of the green for the leaves. They're all the same size, so super easy. You're also going to need wire ties. And I'm just using the little 4-inch ones. I have some assorted sizes, so I may use different sizes as I go, but the 4-inch will work fine. And you're just going to fold this over to the centers like this, and you're going to gather it up. Not quite center. You want to be just a little bit off of center here, okay? Just tiny bit off center. I'm going to fix that. There we go. Just bunch it up off center. All right, take your wire tie, and you're going to place it around and pull it tight. And then just cut off the excess of that tie. So when we fold them over, they're going to look like this. This is the bottom of your, this is the top of your petal. These are zinnia petals. Now if you want to do a different flower, you can put them on this way. You just need that double to give it the color, okay? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 here. And if you make yours wider, you may not need 8 petals. You may want to do 6 or 7. You can do that and space them out more. Totally up to you. And again, just a little bit off center. And cut that off. Now we have our 8 petals. So now we're ready to put them on the wreath. You need 3 of these. These are from Joann's because I couldn't find them anywhere else. These are the 6-inch wreath forms. Dollar Tree usually has them, but my Dollar Tree only had the 8-inch. You need the 6-inch wreath forms. Okay? You want to get that, and then you're going to need some of the plastic canvas mesh. This one has the teeny tiny holes, but I had it on hand. This one is the 10. I think a 7 would be good. And what that means is the lower number, the larger your square holes are. But this worked for me. So if you have some on hand, you can get it to work. And you're just going to cut some circles. You can lay it on there and trace the outside of that center ring and get the size that you need. And I'm just going to put in a wire tie here up from the bottom. I'm just actually going to put 3 or 4 in here, spacing them out. It really felt like I put 2 in there, but it didn't. I think I'll do 4. You guys are quiet. Alright, so I've got those on, and I'm just going to bring them right up to the center here. And then I'm just going to loop them over that wreath form and pull them through. You're just going to tighten it down. Super easy. A lot of steps, but it's easy. They're all easy steps. Alright, and then you're just going to cut those off as well. I got a little bow in mine there. I could have probably adjusted it, but it's not hurt anything. It's not going to be seen. So once you have those, then you're going to get, I'm going to use the white ones here, just in case they are seen. Right below where you put your wire tie, you're going to flip that to the inside, and your ends should be very close to meeting down here. When you flip that over, just like that, okay? And then you're going to bunch that up, just like so. You're going to grab a wire tie and go in from the bottom. You can start anywhere. It's up to you. And pull that wire tie up. And then you're going to come down. I try to come down close to where I went in at, so that I get a nice tight pull on that, and then pull that through. Want that laying in the right direction. There we go. All right. Oops. Put my wire tie in the wrong way. I go in this way, I think. It didn't zip. Had it twisted or something. Okay, let's play this the right way and fairly. There we go. So in that way. My wrist is pretty good. I still don't have all the feeling in my pinky. And I have to wear a boot. It's just a very teeny tiny fracture where I twisted my foot. My foot fell off my sandal. I was walking my dogs, and one of my dogs crossed in front of me and tripped me up. And it's just a teeny tiny fracture, but it's very painful. I don't know why all of a sudden. I just did 2 of these with no issue. And now all of a sudden, there it goes. I don't know, it's twisting, but anyway, I'm going to pull that taut. It won't stay because it's not zipping. Let me flip this over. I think that's where my problem is. Yep, there we go. Now we got it. And then you're just going to clip that off. And then you're going to flip it over. And it's very important. You need sharp scissors because this is thick. And you want to trim this off about a 1/2 inch below your zip tie so that it's not real bulky. And you're just going to repeat with the others. You want to keep them even because if you don't, you can see what my other one looks like. I didn't keep mine as even as I wanted. Again, this is the first time I made one of these. So I don't know if it's easier to go in from, I think it's easier this way. I think I tried it the other way. Pull that up, go in. And I keep pulling that too tight, I think it is, at the beginning, and I'm twisting it. That's exactly what it is. Okay. And before I tighten it down, I want to make sure that those petals are kind of even. And then I want to tighten that down. We're going to trim that off about a 1/2 inch from the tie and cut off the excess there. This goes pretty quick once you start doing them. Hi, Sheila. Long time no see. And I'm just kind of fluffing out this edge of this petal. Again, this is, I think they called this a zinnia petal. So it's kind of squared off at the top. And I went in the wrong way. Going from the bottom. I like all that bulk to be at the bottom. I would have done some of these in advance, but then you guys would not have seen how it went together. You just want to tuck those raw edges if you can. I'm going to open that up a little bit right there. I have a straggler coming unraveled there. Hi, Amra. Yeah, so far I've just given some tips and tricks. The petals go together really easy, and I still have some leaves to do. Haven't shown you guys how to do the leaves yet. They're a little bit different. And then we're just going to attach these to a larger wreath form. So if you're writing down your, this one's next to my black one that I used to tie it down, my mesh. So far, if you're making a list of stuff you need, because I did not put that in the description, you are going to need your 4 colors of mesh, the poly mesh. You're going to need zip ties, 4-inch zip ties in the light color or a color that matches your, that won't be seen. You don't want them to be seen. So if you're using dark mesh, you could use the black ones. So your 4 colors of that. You're going to need 3 of the 6-inch wreath forms. You're going to need 1 14-inch wreath form. And you're going to need some sharp scissors, or you can use a wood burning tool to cut your mesh with if you prefer, like I did. You're going to need your felt in 3 colors. If you prefer 3 colors, you don't have to have 3. If you want to do them 1 color center, you can do that. You're going to need a pipe cleaner for your hanger. You're also, and I don't know that I have it, so I may not be doing that part of mine today. You're going to need a piece of felt that you can cut a backing for if you want to cover your back of your wreath. You're going to need that, so it would need to be at least 14 inches wide to do that. So keep that in mind. And for each one of these petals, it takes 2 wire ties, one to gather it and make the petal and one to attach it. Then you need extra wire ties to do your mesh and wire ties to put these small wreaths onto the big wreath. And of course, you're going to need hot glue and hot glue gun. And any decorations that you want. I got some butterflies I think I'm going to put on mine. I think that twisted wrong way. I didn't hear a zip. Yep, there we go. Hey, Barbara. That's okay. This was just a flash while I had time video. I figured if you couldn't make it, you could watch the playback. And let's see. When you get down here, you may have to pull these through and put them in this way so that you can actually see where you're going with it. So I'm just going to kind of loop that one. And then I'm going to pull this through. Sometimes it helps to pull the head of that up just a little so you can get that wire tie in there. It'll tighten back down. All right, almost done. Last one. I am doing 8 petals on mine. Again, it's up to you. Depends on how big you made your petals, which direction you put them in, all of that good stuff. Which side is my zip on? That side. Nope. Twisted on me. There we go. Tighten this down good. All right. I'm going to cut that last one off. That way you don't have a lot of bulk there. Now this is nice and cool and firmed up. Again, you don't need 16 gauge, guys. That's overkill. 20, 22 will be fine. And then we're just going to fan it out just a little bit. How cute. Bring that right. That's where it ended, so I'm just going to kind of tuck it. And then, of course, you're just going to give your wire a twist on the back or two. Again, you don't need heavy wire like this. That's just what I got my hands on. So that's what I'm using. And I can't twist mine down flush because it is just too stiff. So you'll be able to push yours down a little bit. So I'm just going to push mine against the glass to flatten it down. Super easy. Now we do the leaves. And there's 3 leaves to each one unless you want to do more. I cut more, but I would put them on the other wreath form. So we have our 3 pieces. I've got extras up here. And you're just going to do the same thing you did with the flower and bunch them up the middle. But then you're just going to fold it over like this. Okay? And if you want a wire tie, you can in the center. I don't think that she did. She just did it this way, and that's the way I'm going to do it. I am, however, going to use a little bit longer wire tie on these just because that's so bulky. And decide where you want your leaf to be. And I'm going to go right in here. And then we're just going to bring that wire tie down between the 2. Let's see. Maybe I get it better this way. However you want to do it, from the front or from the back, or lift the leaf. I don't know how I keep twisting my wire tie. And you're just going to tighten that down. I'm gonna zhuzh first a little bit, and then we're gonna tighten that right down on the wreath form, okay? And then we're going to snip that off. So I've got one leaf there. I'm going to do 3 on each flower. I think I'm going to do one right here. I think it's better to put this on first than bring your leaf in. I don't know, I'm chasing it. There we go. I'm chasing mine. You know what? I think this might even be easier if I just put this in, because I don't want to catch my flower petals in there. Get it started. Gather this up. Pull one side through. To me, that's easier. But you can do it the way that you want. And snip. Just going in there and snipping that tail off. And then the third one. I'm going to do it over on this side, I think. Oh, thank you, Barbara. And we're just going to put that. If you do it this way, just make sure that the back end, your gathered end, is at the back and not the front. Because I did them different on the other one, and I don't like the way that they came out, but I'll show you how I did them. I just bunched them up and put the bunch in there like this. So you can see that that's the bunched up area. It depends on what look you like and how you want it to be. I kind of like this one better, I think. But totally up to you. There's no right, no wrong. Guys, no right or wrong. Do what looks best for you. And then we're going to, let me see if I can't get him to get back in place there from that. There we go. And you're going to zhuzh it and play with it once you get it on. So here comes your 14-inch wreath. And we're just going to start by kind of playing with it and seeing how you want that to be. I think I do want it that way. Now, if you feel like you need extra leaves, you can put them on after to the back base of the other. Kind of like that. So I think I'm going to start with my pink, then do my yellow, and then my purple. So I'm just going to flip that over. We're going to get this tie. I am using the long ones for this. These are the 10-inch. These are 10-inch wire ties. And that's just going to make it easier, I think. There we go. Let's go this way. And again, I twisted it the wrong way. There we go. And you'll want to tighten this down in at least 2 points. That way it won't move, if that makes sense. I like to get 2 points on my... You probably don't need that many, just as long as you're hitting one space there. That's not working for me like I want it to. There we go. Come here. I like to get two wires from here and two wires from here if I can, minimum. That way I know it's not going to shift. Want it to be secure. You don't want it to be flopping when you put it on the door, the wind blowing it. So that's secure. It's not going anywhere. So now I'm going to bring the second one in. I think I wanted one leaf to the center. So that looks good there. I'm going to flip that over. And we're going to do the same thing. Give me two. And these two, that'll be fine. And then these two. I haven't made wreaths in a while. It's been a long time. This one was cute though. Sue found this one. And I thought, yeah, we could do that. I want to do one of these in red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue flowers for the 4th of July. And do red, white, and blue centers in them. One red, one white, and one blue swirled. Because you need 3 of them anyway. Red, white, and blue one. And then do the 3 colors. I did buy it, and I bought the burlap color for the leaves instead of green. So I think I'm going to do it. And I will take photos for you guys. I need 2 more of those long ones. And then we'll do the hanger. Don't you shift on me. I swear, be where I wanted you. Let's see if I can get in here. Make sure you get your wire ties on here really tight, guys. So you don't want to bend your form, but you want to make sure they're nice and secure. On the frame there. You want it to be nice and tight on the frame. That's what I mean. How stinking cute is this? And I think it does need 1 leaf right here. 1 or 2 maybe. I have a couple extras cut, so why not? We'll just go ahead and attach those. Put one here. Get it flipped the right way. Zhuzh it up a little bit. I think maybe I might just do a double leaf right there. I think I'm going to do this one like I did that first one. Right here on top. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, there it is. It was going into the leaf. I don't want it to go in. Okay. think that's where my hanger's going to go too. I don't know. I might do my hanger at the top here. But before I do that, I got some little butterflies. They're just clips. I'll put them on after. So what you want to do at this point, and I don't have mine, is you can hot glue a piece of felt here. If you have a glass door and it's going to show and it bothers you, you can cover that. If you don't have a glass door, I don't see the point, unless you want to just maybe keep it from wind blowing and scraping the door. So I think I want this to be the top of mine. So I'm just going to fold that in half and bring it into these top two. And then I'm just going to bring the tails up, and then we're going to twist them around the top. And then you've got something to hang it by. Easy, easy. And then I'm just going to clip my butterflies on there. I got these at Michael's, in case anybody is wondering where to get these. They're just little alligator clips. I think I want it there. And maybe, let's do one here. And there. How stinking cute is that? I love it. Does anybody have any questions on how to create the wreath? How to cut with the wood burning tool? Anything? Super, super easy. All total time, guys, this takes 3 to 4 hours to create the entire thing. I have not seen an update on Rita yet, Barbara. I did see that she posted online talking about one of the doctors that was recognized for some award. I didn't get to read the whole thing, but I will check. So next video that I do for you guys is going to be something a little different. I'm going to sit this to the side, and I'll take some photos of it hanging so you guys can see that, and I'll post those up. I wanted to work with the Easy Color DTV from Caesar. For a lot of you that are wanting to do print and cuts on color t-shirts where infusible ink won't work, and cotton. So I wanted to check that out and do that for you guys. But also, and this is from Amazon, and I will get you guys some links to this when we go to do it, because I'm not going to recommend it until I've had a chance to do it myself. But this is called DTF. DTF. And this is direct transfer film. They sent this to me to do a tutorial for you guys. And so I have to look up, I think the Sindale is the name of it, but I will look up to make sure that's the name of their Amazon shop. But this is a powder, and you print on the film. You put this powder on it, and then you press it to your shirt. And it's supposed to be like infusible ink. But you can do it on cotton and things like that, I think. I have to read the whole thing. But it's direct to film, and it uses a white powder to do this. And I think you can do it on all colors of shirts. So I'm going to be working on this on my time off this week. So my next video will be covering those items, so that you guys Let me put all of this back in the box because I don't want to lose anything. So that you guys will know whether or not it's a product that you want to use and if you want to try it. So that is what is in the works and in the plans for me. If you are a patron supporter, because I haven't had a lot of time this month, you will not be charged next month, but you will still get any and all files. I put a pause on it, so none of you will be charged next month. You're getting a free month, and you will still get everything. So, yay, patrons. Does anybody have any questions? Any design space issues that you're having? Any project issues you're having? Anything that we need to cover while I'm here today? And you can always message me. Like I said, my schedule I get sometimes in advance. Sometimes I get a month in advance. Sometimes I get a week in advance. So it's just going to depend on when I'm working and when I'm not as to when I can do videos. But I promise I will be putting them out there and posting them on Patreon and all the groups as I do them. You guys got quiet on me. The material for the wreath. I got these at Michael's. These are the poly. Let me get my labels so I don't tell you the wrong stuff. Well, it's the poly mesh. There it is. All of these, the green, all of the pink, the green, the purple, and the yellow are all over with the deco meshes. Now, deco mesh is different, guys. Deco mesh is thinner. It's not as thick. So you may have to double it up or use more leaves if you use that. But this is called poly burlap mesh. Poly burlap mesh. And it's over in the same section. And it's already in a 10-inch, it's a 10-inch roll. So you only have to measure your length and cut 10 inches. Every one of your petals and leaves are all 10 inches, 10 by 10. These are the ones that I got for doing a 4th of July wreath, or Memorial Day, or Independence, you name it. Veterans Day, you could use it several times a year. But I'm going to use the brown tone, or the tan, for the leaves. And then I'm going to do a red, white, and blue flower on mine. And then I am going to, where these are coming into play, I'm going to do a strip of red, then a strip of white, then a strip of blue. And I'll mix that up according to the flower. I make my center of one red, and then white, and then blue. So, and then I'll do the center of one white, and then do the red and blue around it so that I can put them into each flower. So, I got red, white, and blue. It only takes one sheet. I got 2 of each. It only takes one because you need 3 strips. This cuts into 4 strips, 4 3-inch strips by 18, and then you fold those 3-inch over to a 1/2 inch and then snip them. So one sheet will do it and give you your extra for the backing of that. You'll have an extra strip of each color to play with, to do your back with. But I don't think it's wide. It's only 12 inches wide, so I've got to get another piece of mesh for the back of mine here. Or I guess I could cut 2. I have extra white, so I could cut 2 white ones and do a backing on this. If you want to do a backing, just do it that way. I can hot glue 2 pieces together. So that will finish off the back of it. But all of this came from Michael's. The butterflies came from Michael's. The felt came from Michael's. You can get it at Joann's. And again, it depends on how thick your felt is. as to how many strips you're going to need. And I used the Creatology from Michaels. This is the Creatology. I believe it was Michaels. It doesn't say on here. But it's the premium felt. That's what I got. So I only needed 3 strips. But you can, if you use the thinner felt, it'll work just as fine. You'll just need to measure and see how many strips you need to make your centers. And then again, you'll need a pipe cleaner, a little bit of mesh. A lot of us have these plastic meshes in our craft stash. You don't have to cut a circle. You can cut squares as long as you got something to mount your flowers to, and you've mounted them onto the 6-inch wreath forms. So 3 6-inch wreath forms, 1 14-inch wreath form, and you can get those at Dollar Tree or Joann's, Michael's, anywhere. Right? And you'll need 4 colors for your flower. You'll need 4 colors of the burlap mesh, poly burlap mesh. You'll need wire ties, a single pipe cleaner for your hanger, or if you've got some extra wire, you can use that. Any bees or butterflies or ladybugs or whatever it is that you want to put on yours, you'll need those. And that's it, guys. It's not really... Get these while they're on sale at Michael's. I think they do like a buy one, get one free, or buy one, get 2 free, something like that. And that's when you want to grab these, because if not, they're $10 a roll. But if you have scraps, you only need 80 inches. 80 inches of a scrap. So if you've made wreaths before and you have scraps left over, 80 inches per flower, not counting the leaves. So small rolls, scrap rolls. I put it this way. There's enough. If you buy a whole roll like I have, you can get 2 wreaths out of each one. Out of 4 rolls. So that's not bad. That's about, if you pay full price, $20 a wreath. And then the cost of your felt and your forms. And if you get those at the Dollar Tree, that's $5. So about 25 bucks, 30 bucks, you can make one. That's not bad for a wreath, really. Because it's about 26 inches across here. It's a pretty good size. Alright guys, if nobody has any other questions, thank you for joining me. And if you didn't catch the live, all the information is available on playback. Nothing really was an online order, but if you need it, my link tree is there. But everything should be at your local hobby store. And again, next week we will be doing, I believe I am off Wednesday and Thursday next week, unless it gets changed. Unless something changes, it will be Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So I plan to advertise the live on Wednesday and go live on Thursday to show you guys how to use the DTV and DTF. Have a great day, everyone. Catch you on the next video.